Goodness, 15 in front. Declan Bates goes for the whip, riding a ride out. There's no need. This is a demolition job. Pride of Jenny in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. My, oh my.
Welcome to Vet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined in studio with John Walt. It's going to be a belter show. We're going to mix things up a bit. We've lost Nico as a late change, but hopefully all going well for him. And J Dubs, you're fresh. You're looking healthy.
Oh yeah, I'm 4 or 5 weeks deep into the mystery illness. We've had blood tests, thingy tests. We've got nothing, but we're all dead. But we just keep kicking on. Yeah, improv show. Nico brassing us, and DK's just pumped for Mornington. Super pumped. So it should be good.
Group 1 champagne, all age, Quokka week, which is full dial. Good to see a bit of marketing for the Western Trilogy. Love that. But DK Mornington, your favourite track, what a time to be alive.
Got in here, enjoyed me toasted sandwich, best toasted sandwich in Melbourne, at the right price too, I might add, which we're going to talk about. And then I get in here and you tell me Nico's a late scratching for the Mrs. Bean Crook. And DK, you're in the chair for Mornington. I mean, oh, God. And I'd done the races, Nico. I said, Nico, to be honest, I found $5 the field race and this and that at Mornington. Anyway, we'll help the punters out. We'll do our best, Scoot. We'll do our best as we always do.
Outstanding. And, we've been copying a little bit of flack. And by flack, I mean one person on YouTube made a comment. So that's enough for us to move the goalposts a little bit. So at the start of the show, we might change it up. And Michael Hickmont is a friend of the show. And he tweeted out, he's at the races yesterday at Caulfield. I thought that was interesting. He had to run a high 5, went average, or didn't win, so we'll call it average. But he was out there at Caulfield races. Looks like he was in the public, and he's paid $16.20 for a drink and some cold, unseasoned chips. So that's a big problem because they're cold and they haven't got salt on them. And so hot chips and a drink, fair enough. $16.20 for the Red Bulls. So I've done a little bit of research and had a look at the MCG prices. I think it's $11.70 for a Coke and chips. Not quite as comparable because I guess the Coke could be in a bottle, and I guess it's a little bit cheaper than the Red Bull. But the feedback around this tweet is just off the Richter scale. So I think we retweeted it at about 146 views, and now it's over 60,000 views. So not good PR for the Melbourne Racing Club and just Metro clubs in general. Nico's been giving us the mail that it's a bit below par, the Metro offerings, and the country tracks do it so well because they get all the the little individual vendors, they get sausage sizzle, the rissoles, and they really target the right sort of food to the patrons in the public. And I think they just need to dial it back and make it a little bit more simple. But Druzy from the Profits, he tweeted a beauty. Norwood Footy Club during gather round, $6.50 for a steak sandwich with cheese and onions, and it was amazing, good quality. It makes you wonder. I thought that was an absolute cracker. David Noonan, father of Nico and Trav. Caulfield race one, today, one assorted 4-quarter sandwich, $12. That's a fair clip. Up here at the Goldie, I pay $7 for one of the best chicken and salad rolls at Foster's Bakery down at Nobby Beach. Check that out if you live at the Goldie. Paul Dobson tweeted in, $34 for a glass of Moët at a certain part of the Randwick track a few weeks ago. You can get a bottle of Moët for about $50 at Dan Murphy's. Not that you'd know, Walt, but Moët is... one of my good mates calls it factory champagne or factory PI 55. And you can get way better champagne around the traps that's Australian made for $50 a bottle, and it can be delivered at your house, Clover Hill, from down in Tassie. So that's crazy for $34 a glass for Moët. It is, not much chop. And then another one, Jack Havoc tweets in and says that one time at the Lismore races, a lady told me to F off because I asked why the hot chips were $9.50. So not all country tracks are doing the right thing by their patrons, and it sort of jogs us back to 12 months ago, Walt, when we're at the Masters. And over at the Masters, you can get, $3, $2 for your sandwiches, your chicken burgers, $1 or $2 for Powerade. It's brilliant at the Masters.
You've got to take in, I think that's not like apples for apples, is it like for like? Because you've got to pay $5,000 for your ticket to get in the joint. So they say you've already paid $5,000 to get in, we'll just won't rob you on the food and drink. Isn't that the theory there?
Well, that's fair enough, DK. But if you have a look at, if you want to try and compare apples for apples, the closest we can get to the MCG is it's cheaper at the MCG, and that's $11.70 for your hot chips and Coke. So we'll bump it up $2 for the Red Bull tax, and that'd be what, $13.70. It still comes in cheaper than the $16.20 at Caulfield. Just doesn't seem right that you have to bet, go to the races, pay to get in. Sometimes it's free, fair enough, but seems a crazy price.
Like, there's nothing worse than feeling when you get reamed like that. You'd say, so give us $16.20, and you say, well, give us a jar of Vaseline with that. That's what I should have got with it because I need it for getting robbed. And there's a problem. There's tight asses who blew about everything. But punters and someone like Michael Hitmon, who's, you'd think he'd be pretty not carefree, but he'd put he's a trainer. He pulls off a plunge here and there. He knows has money coming in and out. He wouldn't be too tight on his expenses as us punters are. Well, but I'll tell you what, me personally, I've been easy come, easy go with cash. I'm a good spender, but I'll tell you what, in recent times, even just not feeling the pinch, but just, geez, that's dear. Geez, that's fucking really that price now? You sure? It's just, but that's just in general cost of living, let alone getting reamed at the sporting events like Michael was there. So what are we thinking? We thinking the chips were 9 and the Red Bull was 7 or something there, Scoot? Something like that?
It's crazy.
Are we? What would the chips be? What would the cost price of those chips be? A couple of bit of fried potatoes and a bit of cardboard. Be 50 cents or 60 cents? Dollar including the wages. So they're adding about 1,000% markup on it. 1,000%. Turning 1 and charging the guts at 10. I mean, fair income.
On a midweeker.
Walt's had 14 hours to try and actually care about this, and he just hasn't. I just don't care. It costs us $200 a day to live now. Exactly what DK's saying. It's ridiculous, but it's not on the top 5 million things of what's wrong with racing and keeping them away. I don't think, but it just shows again that they don't really care about punters, I guess. But I don't even know. Do they run them or do they rent them out or are they setting the prices? There's a lot goes.
I think they'd rent them out. And the so the MCGs rented out. I heard Andrew Dillon saying like MCG they put their prices up. We can't really control that because I think MCG rented out to Spotless. But he said we run Marvel Stadium, so we can control the prices. So the pies and the drinks are $1 cheaper there, say at Marvel than they are at the MCG. So it does depend whether the club runs it or not themselves.
And the problem is if you get something like that that's poor quality and you're paying over the top, that's when you get the double bunger, isn't it? Like
problem is you're there for 10 races, so you're there for 4 hours. So you have to basically pack your own lunch and pack a lot of food to get through that 4-hour period. It's not like it's a 2-hour event that the footy is. The footy, you might be able to get away with one snack, but you sort of need multiple, or you have to fill right up before you go, and it's just another reason why you wouldn't go. Like the race clubs, they don't want punters there, which is pretty bloody obvious. And then 2, they don't want you. They're not really interested in making $1 or trying to get you to eat there. Matty
Taylor wrote something about you can't get not many options to eat and not feel like you're going to have a heart attack too, which is probably I'd probably be more interested in that.
It's choose from the 5 deep fried food groups, really, isn't it?
That's it. Normally, like what is a salad sandwich or like a ham salad sandwich or something? And normally that's probably was my choice. And you could get that at the country things, and the ladies there'd be unbelievable. You'd know them all. It's good fun. But those days are gone.
I think we've said on the show before, but maybe Anthony Jupp should run racing. He's obviously solution driven and has come up with the beauty. He replied to the tweet, "I've got a list of all the tracks that we can get Uber Eats to. If that helps, it includes all the metro tracks." So that's a nice little workaround. But
to him to say that, he's saying really price is not the issue, it's the quality.
Yeah.
Because it's going to cost you more than that to Uber anything there, but it's more about something edible and having a few options that you like. So there's probably 2 sides to it. The cost is one thing. We're all probably getting reamed everywhere we go with cost now, but at least give us something that we actually want.
Exactly. Something that everyone wants, and I can tell you firsthand experience is the Bull. The food at the Bull's good. You got the Chittix pies and you got the dimmies, and the Bull's just around the corner. So we're 2 weeks away and the countdown is on for the Bull. I won't be there. There won't be a stream, but we do have something in the pipeline. So check out Little Birdie TV next Tuesday, and we'll make the announcement on Twitter on what we're going to do with Warrnambool. So something there for the punters, and it doesn't matter if you're on track or away from the Bull. We'll definitely have something for you. So the countdown to the Bull is on, and if you're there, make sure. And if you're going for the first time, I'm telling you, the Dimmy store is an absolute must. It'll get you through the week, and Chittix pie will get you out of trouble as well, and you don't get charged a fortune. So good to see One Country Track is still making it affordable. Looking forward and a little bit of looking back for last week's results. Donnie, he's got one in the first race at Eagle Farm. He's bullish. I don't think I've ever seen him as confident. Extravagant Star was an easy watch. It bolted in last week, so good to see Donnie have a bit of luck and back on the board. Walt, last week for you, Port Lockroy. Holy cow, dragged out of the race, and sort of how far. Territory Express has been one of your horses that you've been very keen on, spoke about a lot on this show and in your chat room. So, wow, big win, dominant win. And it was good to see one of the little guys who's been battling some health problems. And they got big plans with him. Interesting to see that they're going to try and, stretch this horse out to Hawkesbury Cup, Hollandale Stakes, and maybe Doomben Cup. I was sort of thinking that he'd be put away for the spring. And when I spoke to you about it, what was your answer?
Oh, the guy's just mad. But there's actually the race, like Straight Ace is going to that Archer in a couple of weeks. I think it's 775 and whatever the deal you do with the slot holders. But I'm sure he could have, it looked like a natural progression for a lot of those sort of runners out of that race to pop up to. And I'm surprised Straight Ace is the only one not there, especially if you're heading to Brisbane for the carnival. I thought someone might snap up Territory Express, but he's chasing Weight for Age now. But that is a Weight for Age anyway, whatever. He's a strange cat. It's amazing the horse just keeps fronting up. It's a bit like Pride of Jenny.
No, Straight Ace in the Archer, hard to beat.
Yeah, he looks it. He's probably got an artificially high benchmark, and as I said, it's a Weight for Age race. But looking at the rest of the field, it's a very, very thin race. So, and he's a horse that we've sort of come to terms with, that he takes 3 or 4 runs and just keeps improving. So he should be at his absolute peak, back to 1300, big track at Rocky. Should suit him. I think Sheila the Thriller's going up to ride him. Yeah. So with poor Jace Collett, like he was trying to battle on there, and then thought I might go to the doctors and see, and 6 broken ribs. No wonder he was struggling to get the vest on and ride a horse. But hopefully he's back sooner rather than later.
And obviously Ben Mellum coming off yesterday at Caulfield, might have a leg fracture or something.
So they said compound fracture, then today saying
not
nothing.
Much in it.
I thought a compound fracture was when it pierced the skin.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
We shall see. But Randwick this Saturday is going to be a ripper, and the rain is back. So a little bit of a weather watch. It's sort of flipping and flopping between sort of 10 and 20 mil at the moment, depending on which service you use. As we said, Nico not going to be here. He's having a spell. So DK's got his favourite deck. He's got Mornington, and the best part is Nico's chose the races. So he's just thrown him straight under the bus, and now DK has to pick up the pieces. Speaking of under the bus, Vivier put me under the bus. I think she's a 1,200 metre horse. I think didn't run the 1,800 out last week, but hopefully a few fell into Coco Sun, which was scratched from Adelaide and bobbed up in Bendigo, and wow, that was a win. So she's going to be deadly when she gets to the next 2,000 metre race over in Adelaide. So Coco Sun's one you can follow out of Bendigo, but Vivier, I want you back to 1,200 metres.
Who's Payne's horse? Was Payne's horse the one that won the Vivier race? Paddy Payne's horse. I'm just talking to the Oaks.
The Oaks thing. She bolted in, didn't she?
Yeah, there's not much there. And that good banter race from Sydney, I've been desperately trying to find out where those 2 Waller runners are going, Cancello and Kenyatta. And I see that Kenyatta's already been changed to the Gold Coast stable, so pretty easy to work out where it's going. And then J-Mac confirms that he's going to
over there,
Adelaide to ride one for
Cancello.
Waller, and I'd take very short odds it's Concello or Cacello or whatever. I'm sure the market won't miss it, but it looks the only real danger to I think it'll beat
Wings
Payne's,
the Song.
We'll see. Pardon me?
Yeah, Wings the Song, I think the horse is.
Yeah.
I'd say that Coco, I was pretty impressed with the way she done it. She sort of sat wide and just sort of exploded nicely. I don't know if you saw that win, DK, but maybe 2,000 metres is where I'd trust Coco's Son, but I don't know if I'd any.
She'll be
further.
on Adelaide for sure, won't she? She's on her way over there, and she's got plenty of upside. That filly.
Sort of a horse we found a couple of times, maybe in the syndicate, and now it looks like she's just come back a new horse. I'm going to banish myself to the Quokka. Tried to get Mr. Leighton on, and also T-Dogs to preview WA, but they asked us to film the show on Friday, which didn't really suit the rest of us. So I'm going to just go on my patent line and do the Quokka myself.
What's that about? Friday?
Don't know. Everyone's just busy. Busy.
We're not busy. Lucky we're not busy.
Trying to keep our heads above water. But They politely declined, but one of the boys will be back on the show next time we bob up for some WA features. So all is sweet there. TopSport Steam is not sweet. 0 from 4 last week. Fingers crossed they can get the job done this week. I've got more confidence to have a sneak peek of the bets. Make sure you bet with TopSport, Protest Payout, Top Fluck, and they're Australian owned and operated. So they will be sponsoring some of our betting tournaments on the horizon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Will be very entertaining viewing in the coming weeks. Weather is fine down at Mornington DK, and the first stitch up from Nico is race number 5, which looks an absolute doozy. End assembly, $4.80, now with Peter Moody. Pantalone, $9. Talbraga?
Talbraga, yeah.
Talbraga, $10. Due by Poet, $14. Who Dares, $11. Bellinger, $14. Our Red Morning, $11 first up. Show Some Decorum, $14. Anilla, $15. And you can get much better the rest. The horse that Nico wants to bring to our attention here is Bellinger. And this is its last start replay. And you can see it in the white and blue, just in behind them, buried back on the fence, just got off the rail there, the number 5.
Yeah, well, this is its racing pattern. It loves doing this. It loves getting in behind them. It's been most effective, sucking up, and flashing, sort of coming through late. So it was no surprise it did that here. That's when it's at its most lethal and can win its races. It's just a fresh horse. So if you go. I mean, its last spell was resumed in August. So it hasn't had a spell since, but it's been 3 weeks, had a run, 3 weeks, had a run, 4 weeks, had a run, 5 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 weeks, then had 3 runs. Now it's had another 5 weeks in these 2 trials. So they just keep it in work and keep it fresh. But this was a good bit of work. This is what Nico's a good judge of the trials. And it's hard not to be taken by this. So it's getting to the line nicely late there. And it'll be, look, it's a $15 chance, but it's going to, from the draw, it'll be midfield, inside them, big field. A lot of them are going to be pushing up, pushing across, and it's going to be, suited, sort of poking through there, running on late by the decent tempo. My starting point was end assembly because I sort of gave it a mention on the show last week, and it drew wide and they scratched, and now it's drawn gate 4. My reasoning there was a lot of moody things that the trials have been, whether they're wearing heavy shoes or whatever, they're not trialling well and they're improving as they get to the races. So I thought this thing for a moody horse had trialled up quite well. So, and it's drawn barrier 4 here. And along similar lines, it was a horse down from Toowoomba, the Talbraga. It was an ex-Cody Morgan horse. Came down here to Julius Sandor. It's got a good record, actually. I think it's 5 wins from 8 starts. Not easy to kick off down here. First run down in Victoria down the straight. Is a 1,400 metre horse. The 1,100 looked like it was going to be too sharp for it. And it was under pressure a long way up, but just kept coming. So I think it's got the wide draw, but I think Jay Motts rides Mornington as good as anyone, and if he can get in the 3 wide train, which is good when they go down the side because they can all get in trouble back on the inside there. If you can have momentum, and being a 1,400 metre horse, he'll stick. So 3 wide train, come around him, stick, because he'll be strong late at the end of the 12. I'd sort of tell Braga is probably, and you're getting 10 to 1 to offset the wide barrier, so there's a bit of value there too. End assembly seemed a little bit short enough first up. But and the other one, sorry, Scoot, don't mean to drag it out, but I might as well do the race properly. Do by Poet was an interesting one here. So I said last week about Lady Jones, I said Lady Jones has always been 1,400 metre horse. They've always kicked it off at 1,400. And this prep off sharp trial kicked it off at 12. Went good at the 12, then come out 1 at the 14, second up. So it's back in terrific order. Over here, when it resumed over here, Do by Poets, always been 1,400, resumed 1,400. Had the nice trial leading in. They're resuming it at 1,200 here. So I'm thinking second, it's an import. They always improve with their second prep in Australia. I think barrier 1's a bit sticky for it, even though it has got early speed. Mornington might need room. It's a bit of a momentum horse. But I would say if it's them resuming it at 1,200 is saying it's in for a good prep. Okay, it's back well. Do by Poets. So it looks like they're a sort of race. I don't think it's leg of the quad, is it? No, it's not. But you might have to back a few in that race. A couple of points you've now jogged my memory with the Julius Sandor runner. I did hear him on racing.com yesterday with Talbraga, and I think he might scratch from barrier 17, right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls him out and stays him for another day. But now that you've mentioned that run at Flemington, that rings a bell. And the other thing that I'll say is P. Moody had a runner that was
$11 into 360, and that was just unlimited for last year. And I think it's a filly, or it was a filly or a mare, and
At
it's
this
now
meeting?
this meeting 12 months ago. And it was just an absolute one-goer. And this end assembly could be the same sort of story here if it lives up to some of its past performances, especially with the Sandu horse scratched and a couple of sticky draws. Yeah, so
Drawn to advantage.
be interesting to see. And sort of, how many rides back has Luke Nolan had?
Handful. He won his first one back at Benalla, I know that, on La de Char. I assume he's had a couple since. That was a week ago or so, a week or 10 days ago. So I assume he's had a few back.
So this could be...
It's a marvel, El Nolan. I thought he, might have given it away by now. God knows how much money he made out of Black Caviar and that, but he said, oh, no, young family, I've still got to pay the bills and stuff like that. So still whacking away, El Nolan.
Bit like Ollie, just so hungry for the cash.
What else are they going to do, I suppose, if he retires?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Nico reckons that Bellinger might just get the suck there. Might be on the back of end assembly somewhere there, and they're the danger runners there. But beware the moody plunge, because I can just crystal
Market
clear.
best guide, Scoot. Market best guide.
Well, he said he had to put his kids through private school, and he needs to pull off a bet every now and then just to clear those ones up. So interesting to see the flux there.
Back in the day when I used to work at the races, 15, 20 years ago now, when he was at Caulfield, when he turned up at the races, like I remember coming to Sale, a thing called Niagara, I think was one of his good horses, and I think he owned a good share of it. And he did it regularly. He'd turn up in the betting ring with like 10 grand or something, and he'd go and ask every bookie for 2 grand. He never missed. It was always like one of those, he never missed himself. Betting for cash was always a good horse. He was on to better things, backing him in a maiden. I remember that Moody. He knew what he was doing back then, so he hasn't lost it.
Big watch there. Mornington race 6 is the next one. It's the Guineas, and the favourite here over the 1,600 metre trip is Rip Raw Andrew Forsman. Train $2.80. Gates is $5. Grid Girl $5.50. Stylish $6.50. One of DK's. Dolphin Skin $10. Dual Pressure $11. Tecumwa is $15. Ganjitano $20. Salceda $26. And Better the Rest. The replay that we've got in the queue here is the Geelong win of Rip Raw. So here he comes in the white with the red hat.
Yeah, this was on the wet track, and he was expected to win this. He was, I think, 5'2", 220 or 230 at D Lane. But he was returning good order. He's off some good 3-year-old form, stakes form in the spring. Got to 1340 first up on heavy. Just got the line well for D Lane here, who's going to Sydney. So I think it's H Coffee. So it does get H Coffee. It's a bit of a rider change there, but Harry's riding probably in career best form himself. Look, second up in trip. So it's a platform I like, but it is favourite again, isn't it, Scoot? There, so I missed that. It's 240 or 250. Something that
280.
I think just personally, and I can see it's going to be hard to beat, but I just think Grid Girl brings X factor. We've seen her. She had that good win first up, got beat but a bit green second up. Geez, I know she was short odds and expected to win the other day, but just the way she did it, and then beat McDougall, got off and said, there's plenty left. There was plenty left. I was looking after her. She's still learning, but they took the winkers off, and so she settled better the other day. And he put the stick in the left, which I think she really responded to that. She's had the 3 runs at the 1,400. I think they kept her at 1,400 for the 3rd run to get her to settle. Now she's ready to go up. She's got to turn a foot. I've got no issues with her at the mile. I just think she brings a bit of X factor. I thought she'd be the main danger to Rip Raw and be a good chance of rolling it. Grid Girl.
All right, so $2.80 Rip Raw, and then Grid Girl the Danger $5.50. So maybe some holes in the market with Gates off that issue in the Alistair Clark, and then Stylish, the horse that DK collected with at $6.50, looks a bit skinny here. DK.
Yeah, it was a maiden. We've been saying, you saw yesterday with those things coming off the good maiden wins, and they come up to actual rate and sit outside the lead and have it pretty much themselves. I mean, those two Light Wish and Together Forever, I think they were yesterday, whatever they were, they all came to real races yesterday and they got found out. So not badly found out, but they got found out. So I think Stylish had all its own way the other day. This is a much harder race, this.
Good point that you make there. All right, Walt, you well done, DK. I thought you covered that pretty well, given you've had about 3 minutes, and then you hate Mornington and somewhat flying by. But just goes to show how well DK knows his Victorian form and what a professional he is. So, Walt, weather, they've to your delight, they've put a little bit of irrigation on and up to 10 or 20 mils possibly on Saturday. But, it's a great drying track. We've seen it. They had the great floods up there a fortnight ago, and they got through that Doncaster meeting like it was soft 5. So
it's a great drying track if you let it dry, that's for sure. So
might have to send the Sydney guys to Dubai. I read on the Twitter sphere they're trying to hunt them over to Dubai.
What to do?
To get rid of all the water.
As long as it's a one-way ticket, I'll be happy with that. I just don't get why they irrigate the track when there's rain coming later in the week. But anyway, hopefully, I'm more scared of the 2 mils of irrigation than I am of the 20 mils. But obviously, race day, it's always dicey, so we hope it doesn't arrive. I'd rather it arrive Friday or Sunday, obviously. But, it is what it is. But we've sort of got a plan for, something like what we saw that day, something like a 5, 6, 7 range. Sting out no matter what you would imagine. So that's how I've set it up anyway.
Good deep fields and a great 10-race card, I'd say, at Randwick. And I think the Carnival's gone pretty well up there. So they'd be chuffed with the result. The smallest field, but quality field, is the Group 1 Champagne Stakes. And this is a cracking match race that we've got, mouth-watering. Real question mark on who's going to run the 1,600 metres out the strongest and fastest. But Manal is $2.30 favourite here. Linebacker, $2.60. A Node, $6.50. Broadsiding, $6.50. Fearless, $14. And then a couple of blowouts there at $34 out to 100 to 1. Let's have a look at a couple of the replays here. And the first one is the favourite, and it's Manal just sort of getting the suck and right back there with Coleman. But she got into work and sort of loved it.
Yeah, so this was 1,400 off a solid tempo at least, and it wasn't easy to come from back and wide, so that's a little bit of a tick. But yeah, how strong is this race? It's a bit of a pack, isn't it? And even Prost, who worked pretty hard there, number 4, coming again late, it has to put some sort of cloud over it. The second horse that was beaten narrowly sat outside the leader on a fast tempo and bled. There's got to be a few question marks over that form. And then this is a Node versus linebacker. And a Node, the fence was good this day. This was only linebacker's second start. I think it was like 5 weeks between runs, something like that. And to sit outside it and fight it off was a good effort. And that's broadsiding coming down the outside late. So they controlled the speed here and with the rail out and had plenty in their favour, the ones up on speed. And broadsiding probably had the hardest run of the 3 there, or the biggest task. So, yeah, for me, I don't really have it a match race. I think Manal's should be favourite, just from the draw that it's got. She's got nice upside. She didn't do anything wrong there. She kept coming. So I've got no real risk at a mile. Linebacker is the one who's drawn awkwardly. It could end up outside a Node again, and a mile's very different to... that was 1,400 around Rosehill, right, wasn't it? So very different a mile at Randwick, even with the rail out. And if the rain arrives, that could make it even more difficult. A Node should lead. And the only horse that could probably give it cover is El Costello from the outside draw. If it rolled forward, it's the only horse that could probably give linebacker cover. And if I was on Manal here, I'd be kicking up early to try and hold linebacker in a spot where he has to sort of press and just not handing him that spot where he can sort of jog outside and then maybe El Costello and then you got broadsiding who's going to have to drag from the gate. I don't think there's any other option for it, but it's got like an awesome setup, and especially if it rains, I think it should be closer to favourite broadsiding because it's got the mile run under the belt. First prep, I don't love 5th run first prep, but this horse has been off like 4 slow tempos, had sit sprints every time. You just couldn't draw up a better setup for a horse, I don't think, coming into this sort of race where you do have horses, like Manal's definitely had a couple of grand finals already, you'd have to say, and linebackers is, very green, and it's like early in its first racing prep, whereas broadsiding's had a better grounding for me. So for me, if broadsiding gets any luck, happens to find the back of linebacker or a Manal and gets any sort of drag into the race, I think it should be closer to favourite. And if I had to bet in the race, I'd probably rather back it each way at whatever, it's probably $5 and $1.80 or $6 and $1.80, something like that. Yep. Than backing either of the favourites, because I think they've both got enough against them to not take 6-4. So I think broadsiding each way is the bet in the race.
I All right, I can definitely see your point there. Free bet, I'll be definitely backing Manal. Looks like she's only sort of just getting warm at the end of 1400, so 1600 metres. And I agree with Walt. Be mad not to try and put her in the race. She's got the tactical versatility to do it. And from a favourable draw in barrier 4, if she sits, in the first couple of pairs, I think she'll be the winner of the race. But
she should be favourite. I agree. I think the wrong price is linebacker.
Too short.
Yeah, way too short.
Yeah, way too short.
I think it should be north of Broadsiding's price.
Yep. Outstanding. All right. Somewhat in agreement there. Randwick race number 8, the all-age stakes here. 1400 metre race. Espiona, the hard luck story. Some say in the TJ Smith $4 favourite. Sunshine in Paris $4.60, Southport Tycoon, kept fresh for this $5.50, Magic Time $8.50, Private Eye $9, Chain of Lightning, looking for 3 on the bounce here $9, NCAP $14, Bonus Notches $26, Tis Invincible $26, Golden Mile $34, and then you got Am and Amenable, Buffalo River, Bandersnatch all well out of the market. We'll have a look at that TJ Smith run, and we'll hear Walt's thoughts on the race.
So Chain of Lightning, grey up the inside, Magic Time behind it on the fence. Who else have we got? We've got
Espiona out the back swinging.
Espiona, yeah, and the white Star Thoroughbred searching for a run. Sunshine in Paris coming down the outside. She was sort of dragged out at the start. Bonus Notches right down the outside. I think they're probably the main ones. There's the winner of the Quokka, Bella Nipotina. I'm just trying to stir Nick there because he's going to talk about that race later. But like bunchy finish, a very average tempo that was always going to throw up a pretty bunched finish. Those horses go to 1400. Is that the only replay we're looking at?
Yeah. Well,
right.
Southport
That's
Tycoon is it's a long way back the Guineas.
Yeah, exactly. 40 and 49 days too. So, this race has thrown a bit of a curveball, as in definitely Buffalo River's the horse I didn't think would line up here. So it's a bit of a key to the race for me. If he does a little mini Pride of Jenny and gets rolling, he can certainly stir this race up a little bit more than what I expected. I was actually hoping that Magic Time would land in a race where it could lead and dictate over 1400, and it looks unlikely for it to do that here, but it is an adaptable horse. You've got sort of Amenable in there as well. There's a few horses drawn awkwardly that might push as well. So, and Chain of Lightning will be there. It looks like it's going to be at least a solidly run 1400, which the horse I was trying to poke holes in was Espiona, and it's going to play into her hands a little bit too. But I'm still keep coming back to Magic Time. I just think she's both her runs back this time have been for gives. I've been desperate to get Mick D off the horse. I couldn't do that. I actually had a personal attempt at trying to do it. But, he hasn't, even the day she won, he didn't really do anything great on her. But she lands right behind him here. I think Rain would be a real positive for her. She certainly gets through it as well as any horse. And there's not too many here that run a strong anything past 1400 on what we've seen. Private Eye is going to be, he's had 1,000, 1,100 up to 14, bit of a weird prep. If he gets back to his best, maybe he can. Bonus Notch is interesting. There's a lot of horses that are interesting. Airman was okay. He gets to 1,400. I don't know. I sort of kept coming back to, I thought Chain of Lightning with Schumacher drawn low is not ideal for it. I don't know how they found Schumacher for it, but hopefully she gets a bit frisky early and messes it up because the horse is going well. And then it's sort of those 3 chances. Sunshine in Paris, drawn low. He lost his rider and gets Maloney. He's just a little bit patient. Is probably the way he's probably too patient is his weakness. I don't know if that's going to be ideal from that inside draw on this horse. So
may or may not work. Yeah.
No, where I was a big fan of her, it's sort of dampened a little bit. I think Espiona's extremely dangerous, but not a horse I ever want to find. She's a nightmare. I've had enough of her personally, but she's definitely dangerous. So I just keep coming back to Magic Time. And again, the old softy fence sitting each way option, but I just can't see her not running really well. I think 1400's ideal. She's had a good prep for it, despite, being a bit unlucky. I think she should be ready to go now fitness-wise. And, any rain arrives, I said, I think that'll be ideal. Draws to have options. If anything weird happens at the start, she's adaptable and can roll forward if there's no speed or take the sit and she has a turn of foot. So, for me, each way around the $9 or $10, something like that. I think that's the option. It's not what I hoped for. Being this is probably the biggest race I've had a crack at pre-post in the carnival because I thought it would come up weaker, and I had a crack at Magic Time and Sunshine in Paris. But it's still acceptable. But I'm edging more towards Magic Time.
Okay, so 2-bet play for you: Magic Time, Sunshine in Paris. Southport Tycoon case against? Do you think?
Well, it's just 47 weeks. What is that?
Days,
what is that into this race? Is not easy weight for age. And I heard sort of Ma talk about all that V8 form. All that form has stood up and probably better than anyone expected. And, that's sort of NCAP's form as well to a certain degree. I just don't like 7 weeks heading into weight for age 1400 for that horse. I just don't like it. So if it beats me, I'll be losing on the race. It's 4-1 or something, isn't it? 9-2. It's quite solid in the market. If it was 10 or 15-1, I'd think about it, but it's hard enough in the market for mine.
I just don't know. Yeah, I had the NCAP hat on for a while, the Gary Portelli Little Birdie hat on, and I just don't think he's got quite the killer punch to overcome a couple of these. And I could sort of,
especially if it's a solid tempo, you could see it sort of rolling to the front and pinching it on you or something like that. But with Buffalo's a weird horse, isn't he? He's a bit of a nitmare because there's a few versions of him. Sometimes he really gets rolling, sometimes he half misses it and doesn't. And with Tim on it, it'll be interesting. It's a great race. As I said, I've already taken a position, so I'm in the cupboard already. But it's a good race. It's come up better than I thought it would.
The horse most likely just to be set for the race and to peak, and I sort of like that because there's just so many grand finals, and I'm trying to look for a horse that's purely going to peak on this day. And Logic to me looks like it's Sunshine in Paris. Third up's just a perfect recipe, and if Ryan Maloney can get a suck run, I thought she could launch late. And I thought, she was maybe like a slight forgive last time.
She was into 450 on Tuesday. These we talk about it quite a bit now. These fixed odds prices just mean nothing. It's just like DK backs it to win 1,000. They chop it from $8 to $4.50 and leave it there. It seems there's no rhyme or reason to it because it draws 2, which looks perfect really for that horse. She's just a stalker, and I think it's already $6.50, and you might even get better. So. Yeah, those early prices mean absolutely nothing anymore. It's just all personal preference. And if one or two of the wrong people back it, they just slash it across the board. But, I think getting back to $6 or $7 or whatever, you might get better because of Maloney on it. She's definitely – I wouldn't want to be losing on the race if you're playing in it with her. I 100% agree.
Yeah, outstanding. DK, any thoughts there or happy to give it a swerve?
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to have a look at it, Scoot, but no, I'll give it a swerve. Mornington's seen me out.
Racingwatch.com.au is the full gamut of Johnny's action. So if you want the full 10 races, make sure you sign up there. Great time to do it. He never sleeps. It's 7 days a week. Absolutely beautiful. So you can either get it via Telegram or the Discord channel, and you can hang out with all the weird and wonderful creatures in there. And there's more than one or two blokes that just don't sleep, and couple might sleep with the lights on in there, but great community and worth checking out. So make sure you check out racingwatch.com.au. Quokka, it's been full noise over at Perth with the Quokka. Everyone we didn't get a gig, but everyone else is over there. So hope they're enjoying the best of the West. Great to get over there to Perth. The casino is an absolute beauty, and Margaret River is unbelievable. Must see and do both. Put it on your bucket list. Quokka market, according to TopSport, is as follows. It's Amelia's Jewel, $3.20 in from $3.40. Overpasses $4.60. Bella Nipotina, $5.50. Oscar's Fortune, $5.50. King of Sparta, $7.50. Malkovich, $21. Ripcord, $21. And then you got Wild Bell, $26. Super Smirk, kept a bit fresh this time, $31. And Better the rest. So we're going to have a little bit of a look at Amelia's Jewel, see how she's going in the Roma Cup. Obviously, Oscar's Fortune is the winner here, and W Pike stays on. It's been the big market mover at TopSport. It's been 8 into $5.50. And you can see Amelia's Jewel with P. Carberry storming down late in the green and the red. She's an interesting one, Amelia's Jewel. Obviously, there's always been a bit of an advantage in Ascot over the 1,200 metres for runners that are on pace. And again, last year, if we rewind back to last year, I think she was drawn 14 and just couldn't quite reel in the Bjorn Baker runner there. But this time it's a lot different. So she's got Barrier 12 and Damien Lane, and she's got that tactical versatility. So I think Damien Lane will be pretty mindful. I keep going back. I know it was the mile race, but remember when she knocked over Pride of Jenny and D Lane sat second and reeled her in there. And I think from there she went to the Toorak, had that virus, and then looking at her Golden Eagle, I thought she nearly got knocked over on the day that the Japanese horse won the Golden Eagle. So she was a total forgive there. I thought Trial was good at Belmont, and then I thought her effort to chase down in the Roma Cup was every bit as good as her run, and it probably needs to be because I think this year's race is a lot stronger. So I think she's the rightful favourite, and with the right Damien Lane ride, I can back her here. But it'll be interesting to see what the market does. If you can get $4, I'll literally be all over this horse. But I can see a lot of speed in the race, and a horse that can benefit from some of that speed and can take a position is the next replay we're going to have a look at here is King of Sparta. There looks to be plenty of pressure in this race with Overpass, Malkovich and Oscar's Fortune all heavily favoured. And one horse that can sort of benefit from that, no doubt Josh Parr on Overpass will be trying to stack them up. Malkovich needs a new rider, but I was quite taken by King of Sparta to sort of do the chasing here, and it's not the first time that he's done the chasing and reeled in or almost reeled in sort of a tearaway leader. So if Blake Shin can settle this horse just behind the leaders here from Barrier 4, which so often happens, he bounces them out. He always seems to manage to settle them closer. I thought his effort in the Hunter when Schiller the Thriller just raced away from him on Cold Crusher, he did a massive job to get within a length of that horse. This horse is a real line finder. The Magic Million Snippet run, Petronius, Rose Quartz, Baller. Look, I know that these races aren't quite the quality of this one, but that was a day that was heavily on speed up at the Gold Coast, and he put a margin on them. So he mowed them all down again in the expressway. I thought he did a good job, and Punis Notches there. He chased harder than him and just gets the right sort of setup. So it's around sort of the $8 mark. I thought King of Sparta just in behind Overpass and Malkovich, who if they do overdo it or if it's a pressure cooker and if William Pike sort of pushes the button early on Oscar's Fortune, which he might, they're all drawn in there. So the pressure's going to be right on. D Lane will probably try and settle closer, knowing how the maps work, and he's another one that can just settle a lot closer as well. So I don't think Amelia's Jewel wants to get too far out of her ground, but I can definitely see the Stalkers overcoming Overpass and Malkovich. I think it's a much tougher race this time around, and I'd definitely be leading the way of Oscar's Fortune to reel it in. King of Sparta looks somewhat value if you can get the right race, and then Amelia's Jewel's probably going to get the last shot of them. If the track's playing fair, I think she is nearly back to her best. So if you like Amelia's Jewel, I'd definitely be confident. But I'd be definitely trying to lay Overpass, Malkovich, and even Bella Nipotina. I know Walt's going to try and come out here and make a case. Maybe she pushes up and brings Amelia's Jewel closer into the race. But I don't like Bella Nipotina from a setup point of view. She's been in the TJ. She's been in the William Reid. She's been in the Newmarket. She's been in the Black Caviar Lightning. She's been in just so many grand final races, and how much petrol is left. Like, Ma is a freak at keeping horses up and going, but I'd probably rather be with the Ma stayers that are having these sort of endless campaigns. But I just don't know if there's going to be any petrol left in Bella Nipotina. No doubt she's going good, but it's not the way I look at sort of these big races. Well, shoot me down.
I've G'd you up anyway. I don't think you can win Bella Nipotina.
Oh,
but,
you changed the tune.
No, I think she's the key to Amelia's Jewel's chances, though, and I disagree with the pressure because all these horses drawn inside is a nightmare for Amelia's Jewel and Bella Nipotina. Now they've got to make a decision. Malkovich bounces straight to the front from 2. Oscar's Fortune's drawn there as well. King of Sparta, like you say, absolutely. You couldn't bet a better rider for King of Sparta than Blake Shin from a low draw. He's going to be right on their coattails, not far away. So the advantage straight away is to Oscar's Fortune and King of Sparta from those draws. Overpass will get his chance. I agree with you that this is a different kettle of fish to last time. And then Amelia's Jewel has to either have the balls to send itself forward and take luck out of the way, or try and track Bella Nipotina from outside it, let it go and sort of try and find its back potentially. And how far forward Bella Nipotina goes is again going to be interesting, because what are they going to do? You know, they'll think they're going to run along because Malkovich is there, but if they leave him alone, it could become like Overpass last year where it was just a joke and he just sprinted up 400 metres. So I think the barrier draws make it an incredibly good contest.
Great race.
And you couldn't have scripted it any better from a Gates perspective to make the race a really competitive one. Now, I agree that Oscar's Fortune is just too short now. Otherwise, when he was sort of $10, he's the horse I would be backing here because he's going to get that perfect run that he got last time, you would think, you know. And they ran really fast time in that race, so that form should hold up. King of Sparta looks like they've had this plan in mind for a little while, which is good. I think Bella Nipotina is the one who has 12th hour thrown in the race. She can run well for sure. But the horse that I was a little bit interested in, if they go absolutely nuts, is Super Smink. I love that she's got that mile form. You know, she's got to turn a foot. If they do overdo it, she could be the one peeling off the back of Bella Nipotina and Amelia's Jewel at 30s or whatever she's and run a race. But it's not a race that I'm overly keen to bet into, but I just love the way it sets up and there's good theatre there and you've got, you know, good riders on all the better chances. No one knows who goes on Malkovich yet. That'll be important because he's probably the one that dictates the overall tempo. And, it's a great race. They've done well to put together a really competitive betting race. Yeah, and it should be a great contest. And there's many different angles you can make.
Often you get to Ascot and you're already off doing something, but instead, you get a 7 or 7:30 or 8:30. Now
you miss it, right? You're like, oh crikey, I forgot it was on. Yeah, it's good programming.
This is just in a perfect slot. Last of the day, bang before 6 o'clock.
They do some really good things over there. That what's the girl's name? Is it starts with a B? Brittany. She's incredible. Like the funny things she does these rhymes and riddles, and they film some funny content all the time. The only stuff she does is pretty ordinary is with Hawks, which is cringy, but that's not her fault. All the stuff she does with WA Tab's really progressive. That big Quokka running around doing funny things.
They had her on the bloody skyline at the footy ground.
Yeah. She's really good for racing. Is it Brittany? No, it's not Brittany Graham.
Taylor.
Brittany Taylor. Brittany Graham's the trot girl. But, she's great for racing and they're breath of fresh air, West Australian racing. I wish their energy was a little bit more contagious to the older school clubs back over our way. They just seem to need a bit of that.
Well, you can just see, like, they're just sort of, with the Western Trilogy, they're having the harness, they're lining up the harness, the greys, and they're not trying to cannibalise each other. So even that's a great step in the right direction.
There's no hate. All the love flows throughout, and that's what you want to see because we love it all, and it's just, and if you put it in front of us like this, like you're saying, if it was 8 o'clock and they were trying to get their own time slot, well, we'd miss it. But, you put a greyhound race on in prime time where we're going to watch it and we're going to watch it, we're going to enjoy it. So it's great stuff happening from WA for mine.
Yeah. We need a bit more kumbaya and a bit more holding hands, and
you can feel it. And you've got to still stumble across it, but as soon as you do, you get engaged by it, which is a great sign, isn't it?
Maybe someone needs to send PVL a packet of Sayos and get everyone together.
No, that's it. He's not the only one. There's so many people just looking after themselves in this industry that they let it all go past and they don't want not change and stuff. It's not. It's just that they want to be safe. But it's not even about that. It's literally about bringing everyone together and bringing good energy to everything. It doesn't need to be huge changes. It just needs to be a bit of synergy, right?
Yeah. Here. Hey, DK. You still with us?
Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. North Korean racing segment over.
Yeah. No, that was a bit of
we were WA. No, we were good there. He must have checked out because I thought that had a good DK feel to it. He must have. Mornington's really absolutely cooked him.
I was just looking. I'm trying to find.
Burst.
I'm just looking at the acceptances for sections has just come out for the weekend for Sunday. So
he's still got.
I was just double checking something so I can give it to the
his last segment.
Huh?
Yeah. He's still got he's got one more segment in him.
As long as he's not looking up silver iodide or something after you've tried to cloud watch him or something.
Cloud seeding.
Cloud seeking.
I'll be tweeting some cloud seeding from my personal account.
Yeah, so mute for the next 24 to 48 hours. The Little Birdie
accounts. What's going on with cloud seeding? It's my latest tinfoil hat conspiracy. It's a lot better than Walt's J-Mac theories about barrier draws because that's the realm that's one step too far.
It's not a theory, it's proven.
Huh?
It's proven. He's the best. David Copperfield.
Okay, puntingform.com.au is the next possible step. There's no funny business there. It's data, and you can match what you see with your eyes with the data backing up. So you can tiptoe to any jurisdiction you like, and they even do Hong Kong. So great product, Punting Form, and been a great sponsor of our show and supporter for us, which is what we love. Donny's best last week, Extravagant Star. That was easy money, $2.60 in. I think it was odds on, and it won like a $1.04 shot. So that was beautiful. He's bullish this week, maybe as bullish as he's ever been.
G'day, gents. Super keen Barassi, race 1, Eagle Farm. This horse is an absolute beast. Almost broke the track record of the Gold Coast and the Magic Millions Maiden. It's a horse going forward. I think it's a group class horse and it's taken on a couple of decent sprinters that should find the top and keep kicking. Haven't been this keen for a while. Race 1, Eagle Farm, Barassi.
Sort of pulled the trigger early too, $3.50 into $2.80 Barassi. Looks like Donny's had a haircut and fancies himself as a bit of a Steven Spielberg. He's got this new panoramic thing that he just holds camera and just turns. So it's a nice bit of cinematography there from Mr. Don.
You know what makes me turn? CJ Graham. She makes me twist, turn, stand on my head. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's just strange rider change. Look just go back and watch what she's done to Elmore Zilla every time she's ridden it. And you tell me how you could take 6-4 about her on any horse in the world. But obviously a very enigmatic horse that's got a huge engine, obviously got a few quirks. I think he didn't kick off his career till he was like 4 rising. Is he rising 5 now or is he riding 6? I can't remember. But he won the Magic Millions maiden like a Learjet. And if he's back in that form, Donny will probably be on the mark because I think she'd have to nearly stay in the gates. To get it beat. But good luck, Donny.
When Donny started to horn up, I had a bit of a look at the race, and he just looks like the horse most suited at 1,000 metres. There's some good horses in the race, but they all want 1,200.
Why claim on it? I just don't get it. Big, strong, I just don't understand the claiming aspect to this horse. I just don't get what goes through people's heads. That would scare me. We're looking at this just going like, why? It just doesn't make sense. And Toby's been around a long time. That would scare me a little bit, but I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hoping it's like the one last week, straight to the front and getting the Q400 out because that was a painless watch.
She's still learning, CJ, and you're right. You need to be pretty keen to step into her at short odds. But Donny's very keen here, so
good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll be cheering.
Okay, the first one here for the Steamers, and hopefully a better result here, is Eagle Farm Race 5, number 12, Sacred Feeling, 1,800 at 245. This horse has always shown potential, big, deep field, this one, and haven't got to the race, but I know it's a horse with some decent upside, so good level of confidence there. Someone parting with 1,800 at the shorts there at $2.45. The next one here is Ascot Race 7, number 2, Bustling in the Karrakatta Plate. So that's $1,250 at $2.60. Pretty smart horse, this. And this horse is really well suited. Can take a position, can absorb pressure, has drawn well here. So should sit one pair back off the lead. And if you can get clear running, and it should take a stack of beating, I would have thought, with my quick squeeze. B Shin. Perfect booking here. Daniel Morton's abandoned the WA riders, and Blake should just bounce this into position. Perfect rider change for this horse, and all the big syndicates should be piling into this horse, so I expect it to start very hard in the market. Race 3 at Morphettville is the next bet here, and it's race 3, number 3, Carburan, and it's from the Bussetton Young Yard. And so it's had 2 goes at 1,600 and now goes up to 1,950. You got JJ's horse, the Samurai Mine's a favourite there. Crimson Vine looks pretty well found. Bond Street Bow, I'd say. Yeah, I haven't had a good look at this race, but a horse like Hoops is in it as well. Trumpster, I Need a Drink. I'd say there's a few chances in that race, but looks like it's got a nice setup, but I just don't know how much it's done. The Regal Asmon form and another Will form reads okay, but it's been a fair way out of its ground in both runs there.
Do you see who's in? He's drawn horrible again too. Jimmy Star.
Yes.
Is he going forward, back, sideways? I can't wait for the tactics on Jimmy Star, the poor bugger. He's drawn 13 or something, and I think he's in the last race in Sydney.
Yeah, and I just love that J-Max on it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Poor old Willow seems to continually cop it for no legitimate reason. They tried to have a crack at him out of the Queen Elizabeth, which I thought was pretty repulsive. Just yet again, they were all like, J-Max summed it up. He jumped off and said embarrassing, so they all deserved a caning. And then a couple of wankers just called out C. Williams. So
I've never had much to do with him, right? And DK's sort of talked about him before, that he's a breath of fresh air. We're turning a breath of fresh air. He rode a horse for Cameron Crockett in the Oaks last week, and it was a dead set 100 to 1, 200 to 1, whatever it was. It was never going to compete in the finish. A lot of jockeys in those situations don't even want to ride the horse, right? So Cameron took his son in there, and he said he made it the day of his life. Before the race, talking about what he does. After the race, went back in, signed his goggles, brought him back out, made the kids' day. The horse got beat 8, and they had the day of their lives, all of them, all because of him. And that's the difference between a jockey.
They don't all do that.
Well, that's why we come out. Oh yeah, what do you want me to do? And he was there. He had a plan. This is how I think I can best get the best out of this horse, and he executed it and gave them a great experience. And again, there's the WA synergy. That's what bringing people back to racing. And I can't sing his praises enough. From the little I know about, I've never had anything to do with him, but everything I see from him. He's all positive stuff, even with his, charity work and everything. He's great.
All class, and anyone that says anything else about him is barking up the wrong tree. Absolutely love the bloke, and DK is spot on. DK, let's no joy dutching the maiden stays.
No, it was all
Geelong.
sweeted about the furlong, and then something that stopped like a shot duck at the start before that I put the pen through. Of course, had to keep blinkers off or something and decided to find the line. El Polta del Sol, which is anyway, whatever. Anyway, yes, Scoots, I was just checking before when Walt buckled me in the hidden microphones on the balcony there on the hidden cameras and everything. I know I was muttering about I should only bet at a certain track and distance. What was it? What?
Bendigo
1400. So that's what I was doing before. I was just checking the Bendigo 1400 for Sunday, and yes, the barrier draws and everything are out. So we're going 413 Nova Lights. Scoop, 413 Nova Lights. Had a long break, came back, too far back, good run. They kept it at 12 and I thought it wanted 14 last start. Another good run, unsuited. Now gets the 14, gets the low draw. Al Curry, only got to beat a thing of Moody's I potted last start, which Stylish beat. So hopefully the Moody horse will go up. It's got okay form, so hopefully it shares, hopefully that means it'll go up favourite or they'll go up similar price. And yes, I think Nova Lights, mate. Nova Lights on Sunday, Bendigo 1400.
The old Sunday get out. I love that. It's either the Friday bank builder or the Sunday get out, one of the two. It's good.
That's it. So the Sunday get out. No, Nova Lights.
Hopefully it's carrying some multi-madness from Saturday.
Luke Curry doing well. I think Luke Curry's slotted back in nicely. Look at it. He's going all right. 10%, just churn away. Little quiet achiever, El Curry, and he's got some nice rides at Mornington as well over the weekend. So he should have his eye in, and he should be sharp as attack for Bendigo Sunday 4, race 4, number 13, and that's Nova Lights, and it's DK's best. All right, no Nico, but no worries. So been a good little show, and fingers crossed we can find you guys a winner. It's been a tricky couple of weeks, last couple of weeks, but...
I'll need that thing. It's my missus' 50th this weekend, so talking about expenses of the food and drink, let alone what I'm going to blast off this week on the missus' 50th. That's all good. She deserves it, milestone. But I'll be cheering Nova Lights extra hard to get it back on Sunday. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, outstanding, DK. Big milestone there.
Mrs. Cheryl Kelly, she's hit the big 5-0 this Sunday. So
big happy birthday.
Mate, Hawaii 5-0 was retired yesterday, so surely that's an omen. You're taking it to Hawaii.
Hawaii. You wouldn't come back with much change.
I just had a mate come back from Hawaii, and then Australian dollar. All he could speak about was the expenses. Yeah, don't worry about that.
It's like 62 or something. It's just all of that is just the greatest myth in the world. The American dollar is literally toilet paper, and I don't know as it's strong or not, but theirs isn't. It's just a joke. The whole of the world economy is a joke.
Wait till you start researching cloud seeding.
Mate, China own us all. China and the sheiks, they own us all. It's we just got to come to terms with it. Can we just have $1 for all of them? So at least we can travel then.
Mate, they'll be looking for the pump to try and pump out the water at Dubai. Hopefully we don't need the pump by Sunday. Bendigo race 413. Hopefully we've got a hat full of money. Hopefully they run pretty straight at Sydney. Hopefully there's not too much rain. There's a lot of hope around, and hopefully, we'll live to fight another day. So make sure you bet responsibly, gamble responsibly, and you just keep chipping away, because that's what we're doing here. We're embracing the grind and we're betting.
Yeah, gamble responsibly. We're like the bloke who's what's he doing? Having 10 cents for every... You've seen this new thing, the 10 cents for every Instagram follower? And
there's about 20 of them.
He's just blanket betting. He's not doing anything. No responsible gambling at all. Just whatever the last favourite is, just having 2,500 on it. And he's 2 from 16 or something. God knows.
You see the other bloke's laying them. There's another bloke who's laying the last favourite whatever he's backing, the other bloke's laying it. I thought that was pretty funny.
Things
I'm
I do
tipping
for
the guy
content.
going better.
Then he's throwing the little, there's a dabble or something in there. Or God knows why they would align themselves with someone who's It's not really responsible gambling, but anyway, this is what content is these days. People love watching him doing his arse. That's why they're tuning in.
Anyway, let's back a winner this weekend. Good luck, guys.